Russia's espionage plot revealed in the US. FBI intervened. Relations between the states are carried out in the multidimensional and complex systematic. There are many methods to conduct international relations. For this reason, states try to increase their own interest by using all kinds of tools. They provide information flow their own countries through diplomatic officials in foreign countries. The information obtained about the target country is of great importance for the planning of a state's mechanisms. There are ways to provide information flow outside of these official ways. The most well-known methods in intelligence activities. State-owned intelligence agencies carried out strategic activities in foreign countries. The purpose of these activities is to provide important data flow from the other country and to access information in an official or unofficial manner. Intelligence activities intensify especially during times of war and tension. Past war have proven how important and critical intelligence is. Today, with the impact of technological developments, access to information have become easier and faster. The intelligence crisis between Russia and the United States are well known. After Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine, Russia has been subjected to massive sanctions and is experiencing major disruption in the flow of information. The high success rate of the Ukrainian counterattack is considered an indicator of the weakening of Russian intelligence. The disruptions in Russian intelligence and the situation of Russian mission in Western countries have left Moscow desperate. Recent news reveals the state of Russia. According to the news that emerged in the US recently, Russia is trying to recruit spies in churches. After this scandalous news, an investigation was launched by the FBI. Now, if you're ready, let's examine the details of the scandalous espionage plan together. According to the news that fell on the agenda in the past days, Russian intelligence agents tried to collect intelligence sources from the churches in the United States. As a result of the information obtained, the FBI intervened in the situation. The FBI had recently warned the churches of the Russian Orthodox and Greek Orthodox Christian communities. The reasons for this warning was stated as a Russian intelligence trying to use churches to recruit Russian spies. According to information obtained, it was revealed that the suspected Russian agent was blackmailing church members. Orthodox Christianity is a popular religion in Russia and Ukraine, but especially in Russia. The Russian branch of the church has also publicly supported Russian President Vladimir Putin's invasion of Ukraine, which has caused friction with communities around the world. The leader of the Russian Orthodox Church, Patriarch Kirill, has been widely criticized for his ties to Putin, as well as for a sermon he preached calling on Russians to bravely mobilize to fulfill their military duty. The emergence of the FBI documents describing and highlighting the activities of a senior member of the Russian Orthodox Church's Foreign Affairs Department, whom the FBI suspects of having links to the Russian intelligence, has set off a wave of investigations in the United States. The FBI, which oversees the Kremlin's activities in the US, made critical moves to prevent Russia from achieving its goal. The FBI's warning suggests that the church may be more closely linked to the Putin regime that may observed and assumed, with potentially significant implications for the Kremlin's influence overseas. The emerging documents identify and highlight the activities of a member of the Russian Orthodox Church's Foreign Affairs Department, whom the FBI suspects of having links to the Russian intelligence. The FBI released statements on the matter. The statement did not disclose any details of the investigation. However, the FBI regularly meets and interacts with community members. The reason for this is stated as increasing public interactions with the FBI. The official also stated that the FBI has opened lines of communications to ensure public cooperation to combat criminal activities, to provide information to support crime prevention efforts, and try to make the FBI more responsive to community concerns. Information have recently emerged about the suspect traveling to the United States. There is a reason for suspects that the senior officials in Russia's Department of External Church Relations, who recently traveled to the United States, is a Russian intelligence officer operating in an official capacity. The Russian suspect was stopped and searched by the US authorities. According to the FBI notice, the Russian citizen was also carrying files on the recruitment process and files on church employees, including detailed biographical information about them and their family members. The purpose of this file was to provide blackmail to church employees in order to get them to participate in espionage operations. The Russian espionage operation failed. However, the Kremlin's move had put Russian citizens and Russian institutions in various parts of the world under suspicion. Russians trying to live peacefully in Western countries have reacted against the Kremlin's over this issue. The Kremlin's policies had based on the pressure and blackmail were cited in the reasons why Russian citizens are perceived as potential spies in many parts of the world. Russian citizens are afraid of losing their loved ones if they do not want to spy. That is why Russian intelligence uses them. According to experts, the main difference between Russian intelligence and the Ukrainian intelligence is voluntary. Since the first days of the war, Ukrainian intelligence has been present in every region. Especially in the conflict zones, the activities of the Ukrainian intelligence gave Ukrainian troops a great advantage. Ukrainian intelligence, which has a wide information network from the Russian army and within Russia, is strengthening its institutional identity. Russian intelligence, on the other hand, has lost considerable power since the beginning of the war. Given all these factors, it is understandable that Russia is ready to do anything to secure new information flows. But the Kremlin dangerous games could put Russian citizens around the world in a difficult situation. In particular, associating symbols of the spiritual values, such as churches, with the Russian intelligence could lead to the exclusion of the Russian citizens from the system. Ukrainian officials often appeal to the Russian people. They state that the Russian people do not have to serve the aims of the Vladimir Putin, the president of the Russian Federation. In particular, they state that soldiers sent to the front line will be transferred to safe areas by the Ukrainian army if they do not want to participate in this war. These calls by Ukraine are sometimes met with interest, and many soldiers from the Russian army are taken over by the Ukrainian army. The recent intensified Ukrainian counterattacks are causing crisis for the Russian troops. In times of crisis, the operational capability of the Russian troops is severely limited. The reluctance and loss of motivation experienced by the soldiers on the front line increases the gains of the Ukrainian army. The Ukrainian offensives, which are expected to accelerate in the coming days, are expected to cause greater collapses for the Russian troops. What do you think about the documents released by the FDI? How do you interpret Russia's attempts to use Russian Orthodox churches for the espionage purposes? What do you think about the loss of power of the Russian intelligence? Could Russia's espionage efforts lead to suspicions against Russian citizens? We care about your opinion. Please share it with us.